Maya was standing in the laundry room of our apartment building with a basket against her hip, pretending she was fine. That was the first warning. Maya Delgado never pretended with me. Not usually. She was the person who could sit across from me in the campus library, push a cold coffee toward my elbow and say, "You look like you slept inside a backpack," without even looking up from her notes. But that Friday afternoon she smiled too fast. "You leaving now?" she asked. "In about 20 minutes. I had my duffel bag over my shoulder and my keys in my hand. My mom has already texted me twice. That means by 7 she'll start calling the highway patrol." Maya gave a small laugh, but it did not reach where it was supposed to. I leaned against the dryer. "What are you doing this weekend?" "Studying." That was not a plan. That was a cry for help with a textbook. "I have plenty to do." "Right. Laundry, fluorescent lighting, and the thrilling company of organic chemistry." She shifted the basket. "My roommates are gone. Claire went to Nashville, Tanya's with her boyfriend, and Jess is doing that retreat thing." "So you're alone." I didn't say it like it was tragic. "No, you said it like someone trying not to sound tragic. Very different presentation." She rolled her eyes and started folding a towel. "Go home, Ethan." I should have. My parents lived 2 hours away in a small town outside Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I went back there once every few weeks to reset, eat food that wasn't assembled in a microwave, and let my dad ask me if I was still planning to get a real job after graduation. As if engineering school was a decorative hobby. Maya and I were both 24, both finishing our last year, both tired in the way seniors get tired when the future starts breathing down their neck. We had been friends since sophomore year when she'd asked if the seat across from me was taken and then corrected my calculus notes before I could answer. I had loved her for most of that time. Not loudly, not bravely, not in a way that helped anyone. Notice when a guy from her economics seminar made her laugh too much. I told myself she needed a friend, not some confused man making her life harder. That line sounds mature until you realize it was mostly fear wearing a decent jacket. Maya snapped a towel straight. "Why are you looking at me like that?" "Come with me." She stopped folding. "What?" "Come home with me for the weekend. Ethan. I mean it. My parents won't care. My mom will make too much food. My dad will interrogate you about your major. My sister might be there Sunday and insult my haircut. That's the whole tour." She stared at me. "You're inviting me to your parents' house. That is usually what come home with me means." "Yes, very clear." "Thank you, Professor." "You're welcome." She looked down at the towel, then back up. "You don't have to rescue me from a quiet weekend." "I'm not rescuing you. I'm offering you free dinner and a break from pretending laundry is a social event." Her mouth twitched. I kept going before I lost nerve. "You can study there if you want. My mom has a dining table big enough for your entire color-coded empire. I'll drive you back Sunday afternoon." My parents would lose their minds. That was not new. Her parents were always somewhere in the conversation, even when they weren't named. They paid her tuition, they monitored her grades, they expected medical school, discipline, no distractions, no stupid choices, no boys, no excuses. Maya was 24 years old and still lowered her voice when her mother called. "Do they need to know?" I asked. She gave me a look. "That sounds worse. It sounds like you're an adult who can visit a friend." She pressed her lips together. I added, "Separate rooms. My parents have a guest room. I'm not trying anything." That made her look at me harder than I expected. "I know you're not," she said softly. For some reason, that hurt and comforted me at the same time. I cleared my throat. "So?" She put one folded towel into the basket, then another. She was thinking too carefully for a simple no. "You're even supervised so you don't pack 6 textbooks in one sock." She laughed then, a real laugh. Small, tired, but real. "Fine," she said. "But if your mom asks why I'm there, I'll say you lost a bet." "No." "I'll say I kidnapped you for academic reasons." "Also no." "I'll say you're my friend." Her face softened. "Yeah, say that." I should have heard the warning in the way she said it. I should have understood that by Sunday night, nothing about the word friend would feel safe anymore. The drive out of campus was normal at first. We argued about the playlist. She took over directions even though I knew the route. I bought gas and she came back from the store with pretzels, water, and a pack of gum. "You got the emergency college meal," I told her. "You would have bought beef jerky and called it dinner." "That's protein. That's a warning label with seasoning." She sat sideways for a while, one knee tucked under her, watching fields replace apartment complexes and traffic lights. The farther we got from campus, the quieter she became. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah, that was the least convincing yeah in county history." She turned the water bottle in her hands. "It's weird. What is? Leaving without giving anyone a report. You don't have parole officers. Feels like it sometimes. I kept my eyes on the road. Your parents call a lot, they check in Maya. They check in a lot. How much is a lot?" She shrugged. "Every night. Sometimes more if I have an exam coming. You're 24. I'm aware. And they don't trust you to study unless they call? They say they're supporting me, so they have the right to know I'm not wasting what they're paying for." I waited a second. "That sounds exhausting." "It is. But it's not simple." I didn't say it was. She looked over. "They worked hard for everything. My dad built his practice from nothing. My mom gave up a lot when I was little. They have this idea of what my life is supposed to look like. It's not all control. What is it then? Control with a family discount. That got me." I laughed, and Mother opened the door. My mom, Linda, was 5 feet of hospitality and questions. She hugged me, then turned to Maya with the kind of warmth that can make a stranger feel guilty for being a stranger. "You must be Maya." Maya blinked. "You know me? Ethan talks about you." "Mom?"
What?
"You do." She took Maya's overnight bag before either of us could object. "Come in. You're freezing. Mark, they're here." My dad appeared from the kitchen doorway with a dish towel over one shoulder. He was a high school history teacher who believed every awkward moment could be improved by acting like a game show host. "Well, well," he said. "The famous Maya." Maya looked at me. "Famous? Infamous," I said. "Less pressure." Dad shook her hand. "Good to finally meet the woman who keeps our son from eating cereal out of measuring cups." "I only did that once," I said. "Twice," Maya corrected. "My mother looked too happy. I noticed it. I just did not move fast enough." Dinner was already set. Pot roast, potatoes, green beans, rolls. My mom had made enough for a construction crew. Maya sat beside me at the table, careful at first, answering questions about school, her major, where she grew up, how we met. She was good with parents. Polite but not stiff. Smart without showing off. She made my dad laugh twice in the first 10 minutes, which was annoying because I had spent 24 years earning that privilege. Then my mom asked, "So how long has this been going on?" I reached for my water. "How long has what been going on?" She looked between us. "You two." Maya froze. Dad coughed into his napkin, which meant he knew exactly what my mom was doing and planned to enjoy it. "Mom," I said carefully, "Maya's my friend." My mother smiled like I had handed her a paper crown. "Of course." "No, not of course like that. Actual friend." Maya's foot brushed mine under the table. "Accidental, maybe. Maybe not." Dad leaned back. "Linda, leave them alone. I'm not doing anything. You put the nice plates out." We had a guest, Miss. You put the nice plate out with her napkin. My mom was still watching us. "I'm only saying you seem comfortable together. There are moments where a man can be wise, honest, and emotionally responsible. Then there are moments where he is 24, sitting beside the woman he loves, and his mother is smiling like she knows all his secrets." I should have corrected her cleanly. Instead, I glanced at Maya, raised one eyebrow, and said, "Fine, you caught us. We're a couple, very serious. We've been hiding it because I wanted to protect Dad from writing a toast." The table went silent for half a second. My dad pointed his fork at me. "Too late, I have material." My mom's face lit up. Maya made a small sound beside me. Not a laugh, a squeal. Soft, surprised, almost helpless. I turned to her. She was staring at me with wide eyes, cheeks flushed, smiling like she had tried to stop herself and failed completely. "You're not joking," she whispered, barely moving her lips. "Right?" My brain did a clean shutdown. "What?" I whispered back. Her knee pressed against mine under the table. "Don't take it back." I looked at her smile, then at my parents, then back at her. My dad was pretending not to listen. He was terrible at it. My mother clasped her hands. "Oh, Ethan." I recovered enough to say, "Yes, Mom, I know, your prayers have been answered." Somehow a woman with standards made a clerical error. Maya laughed, but her eyes stayed on mine. If I'd known one stupid joke at dinner was about to turn a safe friendship into the best and hardest thing I'd ever chosen, I might have been more careful. "No, that's not true." I would have said it sooner. After dinner, Mom refused to let Maya help with dishes. Maya tried anyway. My mother pointed a wooden spoon at her and said, "Guests don't work the first night." Maya looked at me. "First night?" "Careful," I told her. "She adopts fast." Dad handed me 2 coats from the hall closet. "Take a walk. Show her downtown." Is that a suggestion, or are we being removed from the kitchen? Yes, he said. Outside, the air was cold enough in summer, nothing impressive. But with Maya beside me, it felt like I was showing her a private part of myself I usually kept folded away. She tucked her hands into her coat pockets. Your parents are nice. They're in the honeymoon phase. Tomorrow my dad will ask you whether college students still know how to read maps. I like them. They like you. My mom almost levitated when you laughed at her casserole story. She's sweet. She is also dangerous. She once talked a plumber into staying for Thanksgiving. Maya smiled, then looked ahead. We walked past the closed bookstore. Our reflection moved in the dark glass side by side. I noticed how natural it looked and hated how much that affected me. She stopped near the corner. Ethan. Yeah? At dinner? Right, that I can explain. Can you? No. She laughed under her breath. I turned toward her. I'm sorry. I should not have put you on the spot. You didn't. I did. My mom assumed, and I made a joke, because apparently I wanted to detonate my own life for entertainment. You always make jokes when something matters. That landed too close. I looked down the street. That's unfair. It's accurate. Those can both be true. She stepped a little closer, not much. Why did you say it? I had a dozen safe answers ready. My mom cornered me. My dad was enjoying it. It seemed funny. I panicked. But her face still carried that dinner table smile, quieter now, more cautious. I owed her better than cowardice. Because part of me wanted to know what it would sound like, I admitted. Her eyes moved over my face. And it sounded better than it should have. She swallowed. Yeah. We kept walking. At the diner window, an older couple sat at a booth sharing fries. Maya nodded toward them. That could be us in 50 years, she said. Bold assumption that I'll survive finals. You would, out of spite. I do have strong academic resentment. She smiled. Then her shoulder touched mine and stayed there for 3 steps longer than friendship required. Neither of us moved away. You don't have to, she said. I know. You're overthinking. I am a gifted man. Ethan. I took her hand. It was not dramatic, no music, no speech. Just her fingers closing around mine and my entire idea of self-control becoming a joke. We walked like that all the way to the small park near the library. At one point she laughed because I kept glancing down at our hands. Is there a problem? She asked. No, I'm documenting a rare event. What event? You willingly holding my hand in public. There are 12 people in this town and most of them are asleep. Still public. You're ridiculous, yet allegedly taken. She stopped near a bench and turned to me. Allegedly? The air changed. I knew it. She knew it. I could have made another joke. I almost did. Instead I said, Maya, I don't want to play with you. Her face went still. I mean this, I continued. Whatever this is, I don't want to use a weekend away from your stress to pretend something, and then make Monday weird. Her grip tightened. It was already weird. Fair. It's been weird for a long time. I waited. She looked past me toward the quiet street, then back. I used to think you didn't see me that way. I almost laughed from disbelief. Maya? What? I have spent 2 years pretending not to see you that way. Why? Because you're you. That's not an answer. It is if you are me. She released my hand, not angry, just needing space. Explain it like I'm not inside your head. I put my hands in my coat pockets. You're focused. You're brilliant. You have this whole future planned out. Medical school, scholarships, applications, your parents breathing fire if you get an A-. I figured the last thing you needed was me making it complicated. Me? She asked. You thought you were the complication? Mostly. She stared at me. Ethan, you are the least complicated part of my life. I did not know what to do with that. She looked down, then said, I didn't say anything because I thought you were being kind. Like you knew I had feelings and you were politely not embarrassing me. That is a terrible— How long? She gave me a look. Don't make me answer first. I asked first. You're childish. You knew this when you got into my car. She folded her arms. Since junior year, I blinked. Junior year? When you showed up outside the science building with soup because I had the flu. That was soup. It was not the soup. It was you standing there like it was normal to walk across campus in the rain because I sounded congested. You were very congested. I wanted to kiss you and also throw a box of tissues at you. That's confusing but flattering. She took a breath. You? I looked at her. Sophomore year. Her mouth opened. What? You corrected my calculus notes, stole half my fries, and told me my handwriting looked like a raccoon had strong feelings. And that did it? I have specific taste. She laughed, then stopped because the laugh came too close to something else. Why did we waste so much time? she asked, because I thought loving someone quietly was safer than risking the truth. Because I thought if she chose someone else, at least I would still get to sit across from her in the library. Because I had been measuring my worth like a man checking his pockets for money he already knew he didn't have. But I only said I was scared. She nodded slowly. Me too. I held out my hand again. Can we stop being stupid? She looked at my hand. For tonight? For longer than tonight. Her eyes lifted to mine. You mean that? Yes. She took my hand again. Then don't disappear when this gets hard. I should have asked what she meant. I should have understood she was thinking about her parents already. Instead, I moved closer and said, I'm right here. The first kiss happened beside that bench, after too much silence and one nervous laugh from her. It was soft, careful, and so overdue it almost made me angry at both of us. She touched my coat sleeve like she needed something solid. I kept one hand at her waist, light enough for her to step back if she wanted. She did not step back. When we finally pulled apart, parents think we're together, she said. I noticed. What do we tell them? The truth. Her eyes widened. I clarified, not every humiliating detail. Just that we are figuring it out. She looked through the front window, where my mom was moving around in the kitchen. That sounds nice, she said, figuring it out. It is my most mature phrase. Inside, Mom tried to act casual. She failed before we finished taking off our coats. Good walk? She asked. Maya's cheeks turned pink. Dad looked up from the couch. Linda. What? Let the witnesses settle. I said, we're going to bed. Dad lowered his newspaper. That sentence needs editing in this house. Separate rooms, I said. Maya laughed and covered her face. My mom hugged her goodnight like she had known her for years. I watched Maya's face over Mom's shoulder. She looked surprised by the affection, not uncomfortable, just surprised. That night I slept badly. Not because anything happened, nothing did. Maya was in the guest room, I was in my old room, and the hallway between us felt about 6 inches wide. My phone buzzed at 12:14. Maya, are you awake? Me, no. This is my ghost. Maya, your ghost is annoying. Me, consistent brand. Maya, I can't sleep. Me, too much romance, too much pot roast? Both are serious. Maya, I keep thinking this is going to disappear when we go back. I stared at the message longer than I needed to. Me, it won't disappear because I'm not pretending. Her reply came after a minute. Maya, good. Because I'm not either. The next day was simple in a way that felt dangerous because it was so easy to want. We made breakfast with my mom. Maya sat with my dad at the kitchen table and let him explain why he hated online grade portals. She told him students hated them more. They became allies immediately, which I considered a betrayal. My mother caught me watching Maya from the sink. She fits, Mom said quietly. Don't start, I didn't say anything. You said 2 words like you were blessing a monument. She dried a plate. I'm happy for you. I looked back at answer. She touched my shoulder. It isn't. That afternoon, Maya and I walked through town again, got coffee from a local place, and sat near the river. She told me more about her parents than she ever had in one sitting. Her father, Daniel, was a cardiologist who believed discipline solved almost everything. Her mother, Celeste, managed the household with the same precision Maya used on lab reports. They weren't cruel in the simple cartoon way. They loved her. They also treated her life like an investment account they had the right to audit. They pay tuition, she said, turning her cup in both hands. Rent too. Books, fees, everything. If I push too hard, they remind me. Have they actually threatened to stop? Not directly. That means yes. She gave me a tired smile. You're learning the language. What do they want from you? Medical school, top program, no distractions, no relationship until after acceptance, maybe after residency, maybe after I'm embalmed. I'm not sure where the finish line is. I hated hearing it, and I hated more that I understood why she was scared. I don't want to mess that up, I said. You're not messing it up. They might think I am. They think a half-hour phone call is a threat to my future. That's a fair point. She looked at me. Don't start deciding for me. I'm not. You looked like you were about to. I was considering being noble. Don't. It doesn't suit you. That hurts. You're better when you're honest. I sat back. Honestly, I'm scared they're right. Her expression changed. About what? That I'm a distraction. That you have this hard road and I'm just another thing pulling on your time. You are not a thing. You know what I mean. I do. And I'm telling you I get to choose what matters. I wanted to believe that without reservation. I almost did. Sunday came too fast. My mom packed leftovers for both of us. My dad shook Maya's hand. then hugged her awkwardly because he realized halfway through that a handshake felt too formal. Come back anytime, he told her. Maya's voice softened. Have multiple things. That was one. She looked out the window. I don't want to go back. That sentence sat between us, plain and heavy. I reached over the console. She took my hand. When we got back to her rental house near campus, the driveway already had a dark sedan in it. Maya went still. I parked behind it. Do you know that car? My parents. I looked at the house. They have a key? They helped me move in. That's not an answer. Yes. She unbuckled her seatbelt but didn't move. Her face had changed completely, like she had stepped into another room without leaving the car. Maya, they weren't supposed to come. Do you want me to stay out here? No, she swallowed. Help me bring the bag in, please. I got her bag from the trunk. My chest felt tight, but not from fear exactly. More from knowing the weekend had ended before either of us was ready. The front door opened before we reached it. Her mother stood there in a cream sweater and a controlled expression. Her father was behind her, taller, sharp-eyed, already angry. Where were you? Celeste asked. Maya straightened. I told you I had plans. You said you were studying. I studied some. Daniel looked at me. And you are. I put the bag down just inside the door. Ethan Walker, I'm Maya's friend. Her father's eyes moved from me to Maya, then back. Friend. The word sounded like a failed test. Celeste stepped aside just enough for us to enter. We came to surprise you. Instead, we found an empty house and no answer for 6 hours. My phone was on silent for part of the drive, Maya said. For part of the weekend? Daniel asked. Maya's face tightened. I said, Sir, she was safe. She came with me to visit my family. There was no, I wasn't asking you. Maya looked at me quickly. A warning. Her mother's gaze dropped to the bag, then to Maya's face. Did you spend the weekend with him? At his parents' house? That's not what I asked. Maya went quiet. Daniel took one step closer. Are you involved with this young man? The room felt smaller. I wanted to answer for her. I wanted eyes. Daniel's voice turned cold. After everything we've told you. Dad, no. We have been very clear. You are not in school to play house. You are not in school so some boy can derail years of work. I almost laughed at some boy. It was either that or say something stupid. I'm not derailing anything, Maya said. You disappeared for a weekend. I went away with a friend. With a boyfriend, Celeste said, like the word itself was dirty. Maya looked at me, and for a second I saw the girl from the park, the one who had asked me not to disappear. Then she looked back at them and shrank. Not much, but enough. Daniel pointed toward the door. He needs to leave. I spoke evenly. Maya, do you want me to go? Her father snapped. This is not your decision. I kept my eyes on her. Her mouth trembled once, then she steadied it. Ethan, please go. That hurt. I will not dress it up. But I heard what she was really saying too. Not I don't want you. Not this was a mistake. Just please don't make this worse while I'm standing in front of the people who can pull the floor out from under me. I nodded. Okay. Her eyes filled with panic when I reached for the door. Ethan. I turned. She took one step toward me, then stopped because her father was watching. I'm sorry. I know. Daniel said you should be. I looked at him then. Calmly. I was talking to Maya. His jaw tightened. I left before I said more. Outside, I sat in my car for almost a minute with the keys in my hand. I felt like a man who had been shown exactly where he did not belong. The old thought came back fast. See? You were the complication. You got one weekend and then real life corrected you. I drove home to my apartment and did not text her. Not because I was punishing her, because I didn't know what would help. At 10:38 that night, my phone rang. Maya. I answered on the first ring, which destroyed any illusion of dignity. Hey, I said. Her voice was low. Can you talk? Yeah, I'm in my room. They're downstairs. They stayed? They said they're staying tonight to reset expectations. That if I keep seeing you, they'll reconsider paying for next semester. There it was, not unexpected, still ugly. I rubbed my forehead. Maya, don't do that. Do what? Sound like you're about to sacrifice yourself on a very modest altar. Despite everything, I smiled. She continued, I know what you're thinking. You don't, I do. You're thinking, maybe I should step back so her life doesn't explode. That thought may have entered the lobby. Ethan, I don't want to cost you school. You're not costing me school. They are using school to control me. Hearing her say it changed something. What do you want? I asked. She breathed out. I want you, and I want my degree. And I'm tired of being told those two things can't exist in the same room. I closed my eyes for a second. Then we figure it out, I said. How? Carefully. No dramatic garbage. We don't poke them just to prove a point. You keep your grades up. I don't demand time you don't have. We meet when it makes sense. And if it gets too heavy, you tell me before you disappear. And you? I don't assume I'm the problem and vanish like an idiot. That last part matters. I suspected. She gave a small laugh, then went quiet. Can I see you tomorrow? Yes. Not near my house. Library? They might check. Then the old science building courtyard between labs. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, she said, and I could hear how much relief she tried to hide. The next 2 weeks felt like living between doors. In public, we were careful. Not ashamed. Careful. There is a difference, though it does not always feel different at midnight. We met between classes. We walked the long way across campus. I brought coffee when she had a brutal lab day, and she stole the first sip every time like it was a tax. You know you could ask for your own, I told her once. I like this system. It's theft. It's partnership. Interesting legal theory. She smiled and kept the cup. Those secret meetings were not only romantic, they were practical. We built rules because if we didn't, fear would build them for us. Probation officer. No, I am the boyfriend your father thinks will ruin your life. I'm protecting my terrible reputation by being annoyingly responsible. You like calling yourself my boyfriend. I'm testing the title. How's it fitting? Better than expected. She looked away, but I caught the smile. Another day, she showed me the spreadsheet she used for assignments, exams, applications, and study blocks. This is intense, I said. This is survival. I was going to say terrifying, but survival is more supportive. She pointed to 2 open spots. Tuesday lunch. Friday evening. That's what I can do this week. That's all? That's all without losing sleep or lying badly. Then that's what we do. She studied my face. You're not upset? I'm dating a woman who color codes her stress. I came prepared. She laughed and leaned her shoulder against mine. The first time she kissed me on campus, it was behind the science building after she got a 96 on an exam her father had called a basic competency check. She came out of the building, saw me waiting by the bike rack, and walked straight into my arms. I did it, she said. I had no doubt. I did, I know. She pulled back. That's it? No speech? I can give one. It'll be terrible. Please don't. Congratulations. You have once again defeated paper. She laughed, then kissed me fast and hard enough that I forgot where we were. When she stepped back, she whispered, I wanted to do that all day. Great. Now I'm a motivational tool, a useful one. Finally, my parents will be proud. But even in the good moments, the pressure stayed close. Her mother called during our Friday dinner at a quiet sandwich place off campus. Maya looked at the screen and went pale. Answer, I said. It's okay, she answered. Hi, Mom. I could hear Celeste's voice, but not the words. Maya sat straighter. I'm eating. A pause with Claire. Another pause. Her eyes flicked to me. I looked down at my plate and hated that she had to lie. I hated more that I understood why. No, I already reviewed the chapter, she said. For surviving your mother. I hate lying. I know. It makes everything feel cheap. I pushed my plate aside. Then we need a timeline. For what? For not doing this forever. She looked at me carefully. You mean telling them? I mean you deciding what you're willing to tell them and when. Not because I want to rush you. Because hiding is starting to take something from you. She looked tired. I'm not ready, okay. You're disappointed. I'm concerned. That's a polite word. It's an accurate one. She picked at the edge of her napkin. If they cut me off, I don't know what I'll do. We'll look at options. I met her eyes. Yes. Her expression softened, but fear stayed there too. Don't promise things just because you feel protective. I'm broke, not delusional. I can't pay your tuition out of my car ashtray. But there are scholarships, assistant positions, payment plans, campus financial aid people whose entire job is making terrifying forms slightly less terrifying. We can at least get information. She stared at me. What? I asked. You make it sound possible. It might be hard. That's different from impossible. She reached across the table and touched my wrist. Thank you. For the unpaid administrative optimism. For not telling me to choose right this second. I turned my hand and held hers. When you choose, it needs to be yours. She nodded. The mistake was thinking secrecy could stay neat if we were careful enough. It happened on a Wednesday evening. Maya had a 3-hour review session canceled at the last minute, and I had finished a lab early. We met at a small public garden near campus, a place students used for lunch when the weather cooperated. It was early evening, quiet, and for once she looked relaxed. She brought flashcards. I brought takeout. This is not a date, she said, sitting beside me on the bench. You say that every time there is food and eye contact, because you get smug. I am modest in at least two settings. Name them. Dentist. Airport security. She laughed and opened. She answered. Correct, I said. You don't know. I know confidence when I hear it. You are useless. And yet beloved. She went still for 1 second, then smiled. Yeah. Unfortunately, that word beloved should have scared me less than it did, but it sat there between us, warm and real. I lowered the flashcards. Maya? Yeah, are you happy? She looked at me like the question was harder than any exam. With you? Yes. That's not exactly what I asked. I know. A couple walked past us, talking about a class. Maya waited until they were gone. I'm happier, she said. And more scared, which is annoying. I used to be only scared and my schedule was cleaner. Sorry for the inconvenience, you should be. I leaned closer. Do you regret the weekend? No, no hesitation, no. She took the flashcards from my hand and set them beside her. Then she kissed me, not hidden behind a building, not rushed between calls. A real kiss in open air, her hand against my chest, my hand at her back, both of us forgetting to keep watch for one careless minute. Maya. Her father's voice cut across the garden. She pulled away like someone had grabbed her name out of the air. Daniel stood near the path with Celeste beside him. They had not appeared from nowhere, though it felt like it. Later I learned they had been in town for a meeting with one of Maya's academic advisors. They had called her, she hadn't answered, and they used the location-sharing app she had never fully turned off because arguing about it had always cost too much. That detail mattered. It was not luck, it was control with better technology. Celeste looked stunned, then furious. So this is what you do when you say you're studying. Maya stood. Mom, Daniel pointed at the flashcards on the bench. Don't insult us. I stood too, slowly. Maya touched my arm, a small warning. Not now, not yet, not like this. Daniel came closer. We gave you one instruction. I'm not a child, Maya said, but her voice shook. You are acting like one. Celeste's voice was sharp. She just got one of the highest scores in her review section. Daniel turned on me. You do not get to present her grades to me as proof you are harmless. I'm not trying to be harmless. Maya looked at me quickly. I continued, I'm trying to be respectful. There's a difference. Daniel laughed once, without humor. Respectful would have been staying away after you were told to leave. That was your instruction, not hers. His face darkened. Celeste stepped toward Maya. Your father and I are done negotiating with this behavior. If you continue this, we stop paying. Tuition, rent, everything. You can explain to the university why you chose this. Maya's face went pale. There it was. No hint now, no careful language. The price was on the table. I looked at Maya, and the old instinct came back so strong I almost followed it. Step back. Make it easier. Tell her I'll go. Take the blame. Let her keep the clean path. For most of my life, that had been my move. When someone pushed hard enough, I made room. When I wanted something badly, I acted like wanting it was an inconvenience to everyone else. Maya was staring at her parents, hands tight around the strap of her bag. She looked terrified. Then she looked at me, not asking me to save her, asking whether I was going to disappear. I picked up the flashcards from the bench and handed them to her. She took them automatically. Then I turned to her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Delgado, I'm going to say this once, and I'll keep it respectful because Maya loves you. Daniel scoffed. You don't know what she loves. I know she loves you. I know she wants your respect. I know she has been working herself into the ground trying to earn it. And I know she is exhausted from being treated like one normal human attachment will ruin her. Celeste's eyes narrowed. Normal human attachment? Yes. That's what this is. We are together. We care about each other. We study. We go to class. We make plans around her exams. I don't pull her away from her work. I help protect it. Daniel stepped close and that surprised him. I continued, I can't replace what you pay. I won't pretend I can. I'm not here to impress you with money I don't have. But I can tell you this, I will not be the reason she fails. I'll sit with her while she studies. I'll adjust my schedule around her exams. I'll make sure she eats when she forgets. I'll walk away for the night if she needs sleep more than company. And if there are financial forms to fill out, aid offices to visit, or backup plans to build, I'll be there for that too. Celeste folded her arms. Very noble. No noble would be me leaving so everyone can call it sacrifice and feel terrible in private. I'm not doing that. Maya's eyes moved to me. My voice stayed steady. I love your daughter. She loves me. That does not erase her future. It gives her one place where she can breathe while she earns it. Daniel looked at Maya. Is that true? She swallowed. For a second I thought fear would take her again. I wouldn't have blamed her. Not really. Fear had been trained into that room long before I arrived, but she stepped beside me. Yes, she said. Celeste closed her eyes. Maya. No, Mom. Let me finish. Her mother opened her eyes again, startled. Maya held the flashcards against her chest. I love him. I'm still applying to medical school. I'm still studying. I'm still doing the work, but I'm done proving I'm serious by being lonely. Daniel's jaw worked. You have no idea what you are risking. I do. You made sure I understood every dollar. That money's not much. It is support. Then support me. Don't buy obedience and call it love. Celeste looked like the sentence had struck her harder than any shouting would have. Maya's voice shook, but she kept going. I am grateful. I know what you've done for me. I know how hard you worked. But I can't live my whole life waiting for permission to feel something. Daniel stared at her for a long time. The garden had gone quiet around us. A student at a nearby table packed his bags slowly, trying to look like he was not witnessing a family fracture. Finally, Daniel nearly smiled, not because it was funny, because that was her, the real Maya. Scared, yes, but standing. Celeste's voice softened a little, though it was still controlled. And if you need money, I'll come to you if I choose to. I'll also talk to financial aid. I should have done that already. Her father looked at me. And you think you can manage this? I think she can manage her life, I said. I'm going to stand beside her, not manage her. That was the first thing I said that actually made him pause. Daniel looked from me to Maya. You both sound very certain. Maya let out a short breath. I'm not certain about everything. I'm certain about him. I will remember that sentence longer than any speech. Her parents did not smile. They did not hug us. This was not a movie where hard people suddenly became warm because the right line landed. Daniel rubbed a hand over his face and looked toward the path. Celeste watched her daughter like she was seeing an adult and not enjoying the adjustment. We are not happy, Celeste said. I know, Maya answered. We are not giving a blessing to recklessness. Then don't. Give me a chance to show you it isn't reckless. Daniel looked at me again. You will not interfere with her applications. I'll help proofread them if she asks. This is not a joke. I wasn't joking. He held my gaze, then nodded once. It was not approval exactly. More like a temporary ceasefire signed by people who hated the terms. 1 semester, he said. Her grades stay where they are. Applications stay on schedule. No disappearing. No lies. Maya's mouth tightened. No tracking my location like I'm 16. Celeste started to object, but Daniel raised a hand. After a long moment, he said, Fine. Maya blinked. Fine, turn it off, but you answer calls. I'll answer reasonable calls. Celeste looked offended. Reason? 1 call a day is reasonable. 6 because I didn't send a screenshot of my notes is not. I kept my face neutral, barely. Daniel exhaled through his nose. 1 call. And don't. He stopped. I answered. Anyway, I don't plan to. That is not a guarantee. No, it's a promise to act like a man if I ever do. He studied me. Maybe he disliked me a little less. Maybe he disliked that he did. Hard to tell. They left without dramatic closure. Celeste kissed Maya's cheek stiffly. Daniel told her he expected her practice exam score by Friday, then corrected himself and said, when you have time. It was a small correction. For him it was almost an apology. When they were gone, Maya sat back down on the bench like her legs had filed a complaint. I sat beside her. Neither of us spoke for a minute. Then she said, Did that happen? I think so. You told my father you love me. I did. You told my cardiologist father you're broke. Also true. I wanted to establish credibility. She laughed, then covered her face with both hands. I thought I was going to throw up. Very romantic. I'm serious, I know. She dropped her hands and looked at me. You didn't leave. No. You wanted to. Yes. Her eyes softened. I added, Not because I wanted away from you. Because I thought leaving might protect you. I know. I was wrong. You were. Please enjoy that. I don't say it often. She leaned into me, forehead against my shoulder. I put an arm around her and held her there in the cooling evening air, with takeout getting cold beside us and flashcards still on the bench. After that night, things did not become easy. They became honest, which is better but much less convenient. Maya turned off the location app. Her parents hated it. They still called. Sometimes the calls ended badly. Sometimes Celeste tried to sound casual and failed. Daniel asked about school more than about me, but he stopped saying, that boy, which I accepted as major diplomatic progress. Maya met with financial aid. I went with her, not to talk over her, but to sit there while she asked questions she had been afraid to ask. She found a scholarship she could apply for, a departmental assistant position, and a backup loan plan that made both of us win. Knowing you professionally. No, years ago I didn't think I had choices. I took her hand. Now? Now I think choices come with paperwork. That should be on the university seal. We kept our Tuesday lunches and Friday evenings when her schedule allowed. During finals, I saw her less and supported her more. I brought food. I quizzed her. I left when she needed quiet. It sounds small, but small things are where trust either proves itself or quietly dies. One Friday in December, she got her final exam score and called me before she called her parents. I did it, she said. How much did you do it? 98. I'm sorry, I only date disasters. This level of competence is intimidating. Shut up and say you're proud of me. I'm proud of you. She was quiet. I heard her sniff once. Maya, I'm okay. I just wanted to hear that from someone who didn't make it sound like a performance review. I drove over and found her outside the science building, wrapped in a coat, eyes tired and bright. She walked straight to me like she had that day after the 96, but this time she didn't look around first. She kissed me in front of the building, in front of students, in front of anyone who cared to notice. When she pulled back, she said, I'm telling them tonight. You sure? Yes. Want me there? No. I need to do it. That answer made me love her more. She called me 2 hours later. How bad? I asked. Medium bad. That's a medical term? It is now, my mom cried. My dad got quiet. I told them I'm staying with you, I'm staying in school, and I'm applying where I want to apply. What did they say? My dad asked if you were still planning to graduate. Wow. Intimate concern. I told him yes. Thank you for defending my academic honor. He said he expects you at dinner next Sunday. I sat up. What? Don't sound so terrified. I'm not terrified. I'm assessing battlefield conditions. They want to talk. About what? Probably expectations, school, boundaries, and how much they dislike your influence while slowly accepting. Celeste served baked chicken and watched me like I might steal the silverware or Maya's GPA. Daniel asked me about my senior project. I answered directly, no jokes at first. I knew my audience. Halfway through dinner, Celeste asked, Do your parents know about all this? Yes, Mom. And what do they think? My mother likes Maya enough to make me nervous. Maya kicked me under the table. Daniel almost smiled. Almost. My father thinks she has good judgment, I added. Except for the part where she chose me. He's still reviewing that. This time Daniel did smile, barely. Maya saw it and looked down at her plate to hide her own. After dinner, Celeste walked Maya into the kitchen, and Daniel asked me to step onto the back porch. It was cold. He did not offer small talk. You understand why I was concerned, he said. I do. Do you? Yes. You and Mrs. Delgado put everything into her education. You saw me as risk. I still do. I figured. He looked at me, surprised again by the lack of protest. I said, but risk isn't the same as damage, and control isn't the same as protection. His face hardened, but he did not interrupt. I'm not asking you to trust me overnight, I continued. I'm asking you to watch what actually happens. Watch her grades. Watch whether she looks more stable or less. Watch whether I make demands or help create room for what she already wants. He looked through the window, where Maya was talking with her mother. She has been different. Different bad? He took time before answering. Different stronger, I nodded. That's her. Not me, I know. Coming from him, that was not small. He put his hands in his coat pockets. If she gets into medical school, life gets harder, I know. You may not last. I know that too. He studied me. You say that calmly, because pretending guarantees would be insulting. I can't promise every year will be easy. I can promise I won't treat her ambition like competition. Daniel looked back through the window. She said something similar. She's smarter than me. Yes, he said without hesitation. After the first one because she thought she had answered a question badly. I bought fries parked near campus and let her replay the whole thing until she wore herself out. You think I'm spiraling, she said. I think the spiral has filed for residency. That's not helpful. It was a strong answer. Your explanation was clear. You don't know medicine. I know when someone makes sense. She stared at the fries. What if I get in far away? That was the question under all the questions. Then we talk about it? That's your plan? Yes. No panic? I'll schedule panic after your acceptance. She smiled weakly. I don't want to lose you. You're not losing me because of a zip code. You say that now, I'll say it later too. Probably with worse hair and more student debt nearby. She laughed, then leaned across the console and kissed me. You're ridiculous, and yet still useful. When the acceptance came, it was to a strong program 3 hours away. Not close, not impossible. Maya called her parents first, then me. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. I got in, she said. I stood in the hallway outside my lab with students walking around me and said, "Of course you did. Don't say of course, say something better. I love you. I'm proud of you. You earned this." There was a pause. "That works," she whispered. That night, both families ended up at the same restaurant near campus. My mother hugged Maya before Celeste could get there, which created a brief diplomatic incident. My dad shook Daniel's hand and immediately brought up history teaching, because apparently he had chosen chaos. At the table, Daniel raised his glass of water. "To Maya," he said, "for earning her place." Maya looked at him, cautious. He added, "And for reminding us that support should not feel like a cage." Celeste touched his arm. Her eyes were wet, but she held herself together. Maya's hand found mine under the table. I squeezed once. No one announced that all wounds were healed. They weren't. Maya still had boundaries to defend me. But the difference was that I no longer treated fear like an instruction. That summer, I graduated. Maya helped me pack my apartment and mocked the number of old notebooks I had kept. "Why do you have physics notes from freshman year?" she asked, holding up a binder. "In case gravity changes. Throw it out. You're very bossy for someone who owns 27 highlighters. Those are useful. This binder is historical evidence. It is recycling." We argued for 10 minutes. She won. I kept one notebook out of spite and hid it in a box labeled kitchen. She found it 2 weeks later and wrote on the cover, "Emotionally unready for recycling." I moved to an engineering job in a town between her medical school and our old campus. The apartment was small, but the commute worked. She had a room at school during the week and came down when she could. We did not pretend it was easy. Some weeks we saw each other for one dinner and a tired Sunday morning. Some weeks she studied at my kitchen table while I did laundry and tried not to bother her. Sometimes we argued because stress makes people sharp. Sometimes her mother called and slipped back into old patterns. Sometimes I still heard that old voice asking why a woman like Maya had chosen me. Then she would look up from a textbook and say, "Stop thinking so loudly. I'm not. You are. It has posture. You're diagnosing posture now? I'm expanding my practice." And just like that, I would come back to the room. The first time Daniel visited my apartment, he inspected the bookshelf, the desk, the smoke detector, and the parking situation. He said almost nothing for 15 minutes. Finally, I asked, "Should I be taking notes?" He looked at me. "Would you, if it improves my score?" Maya laughed from the kitchen. Daniel looked toward her, then back at me. "She seems happy here. She is welcome here." "That's not what I said." "I know." He nodded once. "Good." That was the closest he came to a blessing for a long time. A year after that first weekend, Maya and I drove back to my parents' favorite child is watching. Maya looked at me. "Your sister isn't here." My dad shouted from inside, "She's got you there." At dinner, no one asked how long this had been going on. Everyone knew. My mother still used the nice plates, but she had earned that. After dinner, Maya and I took the same walk downtown. The bookstore was open again under new owners. The diner still had the old booths. The park bench was still there, looking completely ordinary for something that had changed my life. Maya stopped beside it. "This is where you finally stopped being dense. I believe you were also dense." I was cautious. I was cautious. "You were dense with paperwork." "Fair." She slipped her hand into mine. For a while we just stood there, two adults with unfinished degrees, bills, families, schedules, and a future that still required work. It was not perfect. It was better than perfect because it was ours and nobody had handed it to us. She looked at me. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if your mom hadn't assumed?" "Yes. And I think I would have found another way to be an idiot." She laughed. I turned toward her. "I also think I should have told you sooner. You weren't ready." "No, I was scared. So was I know. But I'm not scared like that anymore." She squeezed my hand. No. I still get scared about money, distance, your workload, your father's ability to make one eyebrow feel like a federal hearing. That eyebrow is powerful. It has tenure." She laughed again, then leaned into me. I kissed her there, beside the bench where we had stopped pretending. This time there was no panic after. No question about whether Monday would erase it. No family waiting in a rental house to pull us apart. Just Maya, my hand in hers, smiling like she had the first night at dinner, when I called us a couple and accidentally told the truth. People ask me sometimes how we got together. I usually say, I lied at dinner. Maya always corrects me. You didn't lie, she says. You were just early, she's right. For once, I got ahead of my fear, and she met me there. Would you have kept the secret for love or forced the truth sooner? Was Ethan right to confront her parents, or should Maya have handled it completely alone?